Welcome back everybody to another Cricut video. In the last video we showed you how to set up your Cricut, the basics of the Cricut Explore Air 2 and how to use it and how to cut vinyl on it. In this video we're going to do something similar, but instead of just cutting, we're going to show you how to actually print an image, a graphic, any design that you have in color, and how to cut it right after. So here we're going to start just with the Cricut design space. All we're going to do here is start a new project. So now we have this window that you guys have seen before with the normal grid. The paper we're going to use for this is just some regular sticker paper. So we're technically going to print and cut stickers in this video. And it's just an 8.5 by standard 11 letter size sheet of paper. So we'll just know to use this amount of space. So what we're going to do is we're going to start importing the images that we want. We already have images saved into our Cricut design space. So I'm just going to be importing some that I'm going to want to print right now. Do this pizza one. And I'll do this and that and this. We'll just do those for now. So I'm going to insert those 4 images. You can see here, they're intended to be printed and then cut. So that's all you have to do, just import them in here. So let's have this one here, this one here, here, and here. And I could just resize this. I can make this a little smaller, this a little smaller as well. And this one too. I do want to leave some space in between just to make it easier to cut. Maybe if I want to duplicate one, I'll just right click, duplicate, and there we go. And let's just duplicate this one as well. Bring it down here. I can move them a little bit more as well. I could add more images since I technically have 8.5 to play with. But I'm just going to leave it at that. That way I have enough room for the registration marks that Cricut adds on. And that's what we're going to need for it to know where to cut our design. It's calibrated to read, the sensors of the Cricut is calibrated to read the lines of the registration mark that's printed with these images. And that's how it knows where it's going to cut. So once we have it all laid out here, and we make sure that all the images here are print. If there is an image that you bring in that doesn't have a print, you can just flatten it or merge it with the rest of these images and it'll automatically be printed along with them. So we're going to go to make it. And this is what I was talking about. This registration mark, this border here, automatically shows up. And this is what it's going to print. So since it's stickers, we don't have to mirror it. And all I'm going to do is hit continue. And I'm going to send it to a printer. So it says your machine not connected. This is referring to the Cricut, and I just don't have it turned on yet, which I will in a second. But this is what I want to do first. I want to send to printer. So I'm going to send to printer. And here you can choose what printer you want. Right now it's saying black and white. We have a printer that's called black and white, but that's not the printer I want to use. I want to use a photo printer. I want to use this Canon Pro 100 series printer that we have. And there we go. Then you have this option, which is to add a bleed, basically extending the outline of each image so that accidentally the Cricut will not actually cut within your design. I'm going to turn it off only because these images that I imported already have an extended like trace line around it. So we don't have to worry about it cutting any of the image, any of the drawing or graphics accidentally. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to check this system dialog. So we're using this printer here, which has an interface in it, basically print management. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use it to set what my print setting is, the quality and the color that I want to make it optimized and get the best quality. And I'll show you after actually what what the difference is between not, clicking that, not adjusting the settings, and then the option that we're actually going to do. You can see the difference in how one looks better than the other. So I'm going to have this here, and then I'm going to hit print right here, and a dialog box should come up. And there it is. And there it is. So here's the print system dialog. We have Canon Pro Series 100. Default settings. I'm going to do fine printing for plain paper, but I can also just go into show details and adjust the settings myself manually here. So one thing I want to look into is quality in media. It is sticker paper, but it's going to be considered just plain paper. It's not glossy, it's not thick or really matted or anything. Okay, so that's all I'm going to make sure that's okay there. And then I'm going to go to color option. This is where it's important. So here's the color settings. Instead of using the standard, because these are basically graphic images and we don't want them to be brightened up, with the CMYK settings, we're just going to click there instead of using the standard option. And again, I'll show you what it looks like using the standard and then the one that we're going to actually do right now, which is the graphics. And then I'm going to hit print. All right, guys, before we start cutting, I just wanted to show you what the images looks like if you end up going into the system management for the printer and what happens if you just print directly through Cricut without doing that. So this is the one we just printed. As you can see, it's a bit vibrant. There's a lot of color in there. Makes it kind of pop like it's a graphics, just like the setting we did. And then this one here that I printed a while ago without going into the system dialog, you could see the difference between these two. This is a bit dull and not bright at all. The colors here are darkened, kind of washed out at the same time. Whereas here you can see they're brightened up. The colors actually show red is red, the blue is blue, unlike this one over here. Same with these as well. If you look at the comparison. So yeah, most printers always have some print management available for them. So I always recommend playing around with it, playing with the paper setting, because this is just plain paper. It's sticker paper, but still plain. What you might be using might be different, and it requires a different setting for it. All right, so here's our media right there. And we're just getting the Cricut sticky mat that we're gonna put our printed design on. Just gonna make sure that it's laid on the grid properly and in line with the numbers, just to make it 8.5 by 11, just like that. Fortunately, we do have the registration marks automatically here, so the Cricut is perfectly calibrated to be able to cut where it needs to. So then it's indicating here the flashing light that we're going to need to insert into the rollers and feed it into the machine, just like that. So once I have it with these inserts over here, I'm going to click this button. It's flashing, and just like that. As you can see on our monitor, our screen here, it shows that it is ready to just hit go and send it to the Cricut to begin cutting. So I'm just going to hit this light up button here, the Cricut symbol, that basically just means to go. And also another note, make sure this scroll here is set to paper, not vinyl or iron-on or anything else that you might have been using before, or if you are still using vinyl or anything else, just set it appropriately where it needs to be. So for us, it's just going to stay here on paper. I'm going to hit send. And it'll start marking where the cut is going to be indicated. Now it's just going around with its sensors in there to see where the registration marks are, so it knows where to start cutting. And here on the screen you can see the process of it going and how long it's going to take. Now that it's done, all you have to do is just click this button again to reel it out. And then be careful as you're removing this from the sticker mat, just so the paper itself doesn't rip with it. Just like that. Now I could just take the sticker. Like that. And that is all. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next Cricut video.